So again, let's start with gratitude. If we can think of one thing since last Tuesday, which was positive for all of us, I mean for you, and you are thankful for it. So first thing to do is to think about that. And then once you have identified, let's think about why that particular thing was positive for you. So let's take 30 seconds to a minute to capture that. Next thing about this positive task is to now figure out how are we going to set it free. They say that once you capture a positivity, if you set it free, it stays around forever, right? So if you can just, you're all on mute. So just say it out loud to yourselves, or if you're with someone, as to, why, what was positive. That's it. So that way, we are setting it free, if you will. So let's just share that positive uh, item with the universe, if you will.
अनम्यूट કેમ કર્યું?
Okay. Now let's start our meditation session. So in this session, I wanted to talk about something we try to avoid talking as a society. No, not the BLM thing, but death. When one is born, there's only one certainty in this world, right? Every living being that is born will eventually die. We all know that. There's no question about it. It's the only guarantee one can provide in life. There's no guarantee when someone's born that, hey, they'll be healthy or they'll be wealthy or they'll find love or what have you. But we all die for sure. So although death is certainty, we're never willing to accept that as fact of life, especially in Western world. Another thing about death is that it's uncertain to its timing. You know, as we are talking, I may just drop dead, right? I may stop breathing and die right here. Intellectually, we all know that we may die someday, but we think that day is not going to be today. We are so sure of that. In fact, if someone's on their deathbed, they probably think that today is not day, maybe tomorrow, but not today. So, our default mode, if you will, is that I may not die today. That's how we have, set up ourselves. So, how about we look at just a little bit differently? How about we change our default mode? Instead of saying, I may not die today, how about we say, I may die today? That doesn't mean we will die, but just as it says, we may die today. We may not die today, but we may. If someone gives us a date certain, let's say a week from today, we'll all die for sure. Okay? If someone guarantees you the hey, next Tuesday, June 16, this time, it's our time. How will that change the decisions we make between now and next Tuesday? Think about that. Will we worry about, someone who cut us off in traffic, or the small things we argue with our friends and families? Probably not. I hope not, right? So that's something we should contemplate and see that, how we can change our decisions based on the fact that we may die today. It's an interesting concept. It's a concept where, again, we are not saying we are dying today, but instead of thinking we may not, we just thinking we may, right? That changes so many things. I was teaching this class about 2 months ago uh, in our family group, and someone came back and say, you know what, that just brought so much uh, emotions, number one, and number two, uh, I realized, hey, I haven't done, I haven't prepared my family, right? If I'm not around, right, I haven't done what it needs to be done, right? My will and this and that, which is fine. On a superficial level, that is we must do, right? But beyond that, right, what decisions we will change if we die today, or if, I mean, not die today, if we may die today, right? And that's an interesting thing. I think that's something we should think about. So, towards the end of the meditation, we'll just uh, contemplate that for a minute or so. Now, in today's meditation, last time we talked about when a thought comes, right, that we just acknowledge the thought and then not try to chase it. Then, if we do end up chasing it, if we realize it, if we become mindful of it, then we again start focusing on our breath. So, we will do the same thing. We will start with our breath. When you do your breath, make sure you focus on the sensation on your nostrils, and then instead of not paying attention to our thoughts, let's do something different, right? It's different techniques. Every we'll throw different techniques at you over the next few weeks, so that some may work for one person, some other may work for somebody else, right? So let's think about your mind as a big blue sky. Okay, no cloud in the horizon. When a thought comes, so that's a cloud. Okay, you just watch it. You watch the thought pass by. Don't chase it again, right? But just watch. If you ever had spent a couple of hours on a pool just looking up, in the sky, you will notice that the clouds form and the clouds disappear. Thoughts are just like that. They form out of nowhere and they disappear into nowhere. So when we are trying to meditate, right, when a thought appears, just you know treat it as a cloud in a big blue sky. Just watch it, and if you watch it, it'll go away, right? Just as long as you don't chase it, it'll go away by itself. And if you find yourself chasing it, bring it back to your breathing. So let's start in our meditation posture. See if you can sit with your spine erect, no slouch if you can avoid it. Keep your hands in your lap, your right palm over your left, your thumbs slightly touching each other. Gently close your eyes. Open your mouth just a little bit So there is no tension in your jaws. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. As you exhale, just relax your body. Take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, relax some more. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, completely relax your body. Now focus on your breathing, the sensation of your breath. Air going in, feel the cool air. Air going out, feel just a slight warmness in the air. Do that for a minute or so. Settle down in your heart. Think of your mind as a big blue sky, not a cloud in sight. If a thought comes in the form of a cloud, just watch it. Just watch that same thought without chasing it. It will disappear by itself. If you find yourself chasing the thought, go back to your breathing sensation. Just watch your thought come and go in a big blue sky in the form of a cloud. If you are chasing your thoughts, please come back. Start focusing on your breath, maybe for 3 to 5 breaths, or until your mind or your heart settles down. And then go back to observing the big blue sky. Let the thought come, watch it disappear. Now, for last minute or so, think about what we discussed earlier. There's only one certainty, which is we are all going to die someday. I may die today. I may not die today, but I may die today. Contemplate that for a minute or so as to how you change your decisions based on that fact. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, please. I'm going to unmute everyone. And if you can click on your participant window, there is a raise hand button. So, if you have any questions, just click on that. Any questions?
Share. Pelatron dots, which
You can just start. If you have a question, that's okay too. Okay, wonderful. No questions. I like that. Teacher must be good. Okay. Well, in that case, let's. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Nirav, just a thought on the people dying.
Yes.
I to share my thought and what I read that most of the people, when they realize that they are going to die, and what is their wish that they could have done, and one common answer that I would have spent more time with my family and friends.
Correct.
Nothing else, nothing like that. I would have seen this place or visited this place or earned more money. Everything is out of equation except that I would have spent more time with my family and friends.
Right.
That's probably the most correct thing that
Well,
people would.
That's a very good observation, Uncle. And that if that comes to our head, right? If that comes to our thought process, then it's a perfect way to say, what's stopping you? Why not start that today, right? Give you one quick story. I was doing this program called Strategic Coach about 10, 12 years ago. And, they had this thing like, hey, what's your dream? My dream's to retire. And we had this conversation and it hit me, what's stopping me? right? This was about 12 years ago. So I said, okay, let me just start, not working 40 hours a week, but let me just start working 12 hours a week, right? So in I think 2008 or 2009, I said, okay, I'm going to work 12 hours a week now. And that's it, right? My kids got used to it where somebody will call on Saturday and each will pick up and say, my dad doesn't do business on Saturday. He'll just hang up. They were trained like that. So the point is, what's stopping us, right? It's we are in this rat race, and if that actually comes to us and say, you know what, I should spend more time with my friends and family, then let's start, right? Let's start, not much, maybe 2 hours more than you used to doing a week, right? And then all of a sudden, right, it becomes a habit, and you uh, spend two, instead of 2 hours more, you start 4 hours more, and eventually, you spend the time you want to spend, right? I mean, they may get uh, they may not want it in, but that's an entire different story.
Get the job.
That's right. So uh, the question.
So I will do one thing, Nirav. When I'm in Denver, I'll see you first.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Good, man.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you. We'll again upload this on the YouTube channel, and we'll meet again in a week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Yep.